With us in a major policy move aimed at strengthening Nigeria's banking sector, Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a new directive mandating banks to submit a capital restoration plan by mid-2025. This is part of a broader strategy to exit the regulatory forbearance regime, temporary relief structure that had allowed banks to operate with relaxed structures during tough economic times. In a circular signed by CBN's Director of Supervision, Dr. Olubukola Akinwumi, published on the website on Monday, the Apex Bank said capital restoration plan would complement its other measures, which includes termination of forbearance exposures and single obligor limits, waiver suspension for payments and dividends bonuses for investments in foreign subsidiaries or for affected banks. Let's speak to Dr. Emeka Okengu, who joins me from Akwa Ibom State for this conversation. Good to have you on the program. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to ask you first what you think about this restoration plan and what it means for the entire industry. Of course, the banks and the external, all other sectors of the economy.
Well, just take it from the word restoration. What it simply means is a restoration in every sense of the word. How are you going to be making certain that you are in the green at every time? How are you going to be making certain that your plates are clean at every time? How are you going to be making certain that you're going to be meeting, both your obligations, to your depositors and then your obligations to the regulatory authorities? That's what it simply means. It now means that, banks are just not going to be, flying as it were, dark. Everybody, there's going to be a clear, plan program of action that shows what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it, what expectations are coming out from what you want to do, and then what returns, that you're going to be making on investments or otherwise, structural, financial, operational, administrative, to make certain that you remain healthy. And of course, when you do this, one simple thing that happens is that you're going to be having stronger banks, you're going to be having more investor confidence, you're going to be having, more people now believing in our financial system, knowing that the banks are the first window, that now tells, the health of our monetary systems.
That's a good one, but I also want to follow. Why is it happening at this time? Some are saying because during the COVID time, there were a lot of, maybe that was when the forbearances were given, all of these lapses, and now we have to firm up back. Is it because of the recapitalization that is also ahead of the banks?
Yeah, you've just gotten it. The word is lapses. Before now, you had things done the way they're not supposed to be done, and right now, somehow everybody's back. It's no longer business as usual. It's no longer you do it and then explain later. It now has to do with you do it and show us clearly, how you're going to be doing it, why you're doing it, what it will entail for you to do it. So it's not happening now because there's any reasons for us to, start attacking the banks. I think we're just now beginning to have a central bank that is living up to what it says it is. We are going to be making certain that as financial advisors to the federal government, and as regulators of the financial system of Nigeria, everybody who claims that he is, on this trajectory, meets the minimums that are demanded at both the local, sub-regional and international levels to be able to operate as a bank. So when you hear that you have a bank in Nigeria with this restoration plan, it's a lot easier for you to be able to now do, your back checks. Okay, the moment you go through their restoration plans, you're able to show clearly or see clearly where they're coming from, where they want to go to, how they want to get there.
So in your understanding, one thing I would also like to raise is the issue of credit. If this works out, of course, the way the Apex Bank is looking at it, do you think that it could tighten credit to the real sector, to the regular Nigerians?
Well, let's not mix issues.
Okay.
It's important to don't mix issues.
Thank you.
Tightening credit has to do, with the different things. If you are awash your funds, there's no need for you to try tighten credit unnecessarily. Now, but if you're doing, I remember that before now, we've had a lot of cases of insider abuse, people who didn't have any programs, that could pay back these monies, just got advantage of it because they had some insider knowledge or advantage. But with a restoration plan, it becomes a lot easy, for you to whistleblow and then find the dark spots, if you may, or those flashpoints before they even happen. If it needs to tightening credit, yes, then it will be a gain, but it's not going to be tightening credit against some general policy of not releasing credit. It's going to be tightening credit against not giving credit to who is not credit worthy. I think that is what this is all about.
Interesting stuff. Well, let's go to some other interesting talks around Trump's tariff. Yesterday, we had a chat off camera, and it was quite interesting. This tariff thing is becoming the talk everywhere. Even at the BRICS meeting, the issue of this tariff came up again. Let me ask you what you make of it and what you think can be done. For me, I think it's a time to think Africa, think Nigeria. Everyone should start to think of how to grow their own economy.
Spot on, spot on. Like I told you when we had the off-camera conversation, I said to you, what's America actually bringing to the table? Okay? If we are thinking Africa, I mean, if you look at AFTA has, a lower aggregation of over $3 trillion, in ramped-up investments if we're able to come together. Now, tariff, and I said to you when we're having this conversation, it's not as if we're not also throwing our own tariffs. So everybody has a right to throw tariffs. But how retaliatory can you be? I mean, the more retaliatory you are, the more you now start measuring towards what they call the MAD. And what's MAD? MAD is mutual assured destruction. Okay, if I'm putting 10% on tariffs, what is that thing that America will be needing or needs from Africa? Okay, that we can also say, hey, you know what? Let's talk. It's not as if all the American tariffs have been cast in stone. We have seen them step down for 14 days, and then these 14 days are turned into 2 months and no further action. We saw it with China. We are seeing it with Canada. So sometimes in throwing these tariffs, I think it's a wake-up call, people who have leashes and ropes and chains, all around it. So breaking free might not be as easy as okay, I no longer want. All right. So Africa needs to do more, and Africa, needs to push harder, to be able to get free. Because, I mean, let me just look at the case of Niger, for crying out aloud. In just one fuel, some decision, some policy decision that Niger, took. They went from, the lower rank of the ladder to probably the third or fourth, fastest growing economy globally, just by restricting, or insisting that they needed to domesticate the sales of their uranium, just one product. So yes, Africa somehow over a very long period of time have been seen as a plantation. If you want to look at it from the Berlin 1885, conference that demarcated us as people. So when I say, when people say, if Africa is not struggling hard enough, I don't think that's right. The BRICS, conference that we've struggled to get into or that I've gotten into is a big deal for me. Okay, so we are going to be calling this bluff sooner than later. I mean, we have the human resources, and I can tell you, can't cross-check we have more PhDs in Africa than you have in the whole of North America, and that's the truth. We have more people who are scientifically minded, who are properly educated, and I'm talking about Ivy Leagues, than you even have in the westernized nations. So it is for us to first and foremost appreciate that we're in shackles, okay, and then look for how best we can be able to now start breaking these shackles. And I can say to you, against what it is you believe, the moment we get to that aggregation point, stopping us will be very difficult. And I think we're heading there, very fast.
That would be a good one as we head there very fast. Well, let's let it go for today, network and all of that. But let me just allow you, because I know you have a lot of commitments and meetings in Uyo there that you just had to rush into. But Dr. Okengu, when you're back to Abuja, we'll continue our conversation as always. Dr. Okengu is an international business and project development consultant. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, Doc. All right, then. Well, it's time to look at trading. It's trading